So Martha is on her way to a Marks and Spencer distribution center from here.
My glamorous life, Patty. I can't begin to tell you. I can't wait.
Martha is on the Marks and Spencer board, and that's where they're having their board meeting. So she's wearing a Marks and Spencer dress. I just interviewed Federica Marchioni, who was wearing, by the way, a Land's End dress, suit, in case you were wondering. So Martha, thank you for being here. We've been trying to get you for years.
Sorry.
We finally won. The honor is mine to interview you. Many of you who are based here in the UK, and by the way, a little over 60% of the women at this conference are from the UK. I'm a little surprised that the number is that high, because yesterday during the big get to know you, the crowd, the audience seemed more diverse than ever in terms of geography. It is. In fact, I checked it last night. We checked it last night. You are more diverse than ever, but about, almost 2/3 of you are from the UK. The women in the UK know who Martha Lane Fox is. Many of the women outside the UK probably don't know who you are, because so much of your work has been in, very focused, UK focused. So Martha co-founded in 1998, almost 20 years ago, Europe's largest travel and leisure website, lastminute.com. Took it public in 2000, sold it in 2005, made a lot of money. Was appointed a crossbench peer in the House of Lords in March 2013. She has been I've been interviewing a lot of evangelists and pioneers and advocates here, fiery advocates here. Yesterday I interviewed Helena Morrissey. Today I'm here with you. Martha is an advocate for women in technology. Yes.
You're biased.
And more recently, she's expanded her passion to, more broadly, getting people in the UK more tech proficient. But we're going to start with something that Martha just said to me, which is she's a bit disappointed. Going back 20 years to her lastminute.com days, she feels like we've kind of sleptwalked into this current state of living with technology. And Martha, what do you mean by that?
I know that sounds kind of depressing, and I'm generally an optimist, but I have to say that when I think back to how I felt in 97, 98, I was 25, internet revolution was happening, we're starting a business, everything seemed possible, this incredible technology. It felt to me was going to empower different people, was going to be redistributive, democratic, there were going to be new voices. And actually, you look around, you look at the biggest platforms in the world, not only are they run by men, but also they mainly come from a very small area of the west coast of America. And just here in the UK, we still have an enormous challenge in bridging the digital divide, people who both have technology and people who don't have technology, but also people in power who don't really understand what the digital revolution is all about, and I think are missing out on an opportunity to make Britain something even better. So, there are amazing things that happen every single day on the internet. Obviously, there are new ways of communicating, there are exciting ways of empowering yourself, but I still feel as though it's a very different landscape to what could have been.
Let's focus, first of all, on what has been your biggest cause over the last 10 years since you sold Last Minute, which is women in technology. Tell us where we are and what you're trying to do to change that.
It's actually started with being asked by the old Prime Minister whether or not I would look at the issue of digital skills in the UK. And I had always worked in a sort of tech metropolitan bubble, and I thought, well, everybody's using the internet, right? But actually, then it was about 2009, I started working outside London, looking more broadly in the UK, and at that point there were about 10 million adults, about 20%, 25% of our adult population who'd never used the internet, a huge proportion of whom were women. And that really matters, because that's taking out people from a conversation that could be extremely valuable to them, particularly people living in the most disadvantaged and vulnerable communities. So that was one aspect of the work. And then, built out lots of different programs helping not just women, but all kinds of communities get online. And more recently, I've come back to sort of the high-end issues around women in technology, just looking at the stats for women in the sector as opposed to women who are not engaging with the technology world. And just yesterday, there was some research done by a group called Tech London Advocates, showing that the number of women in the tech sector is still very low. Overall, there's about 26% women in management leadership roles, about 17%. And when you look at the actual engineering and creation of the products and services, it goes down way below 5%. And really think that matters. It really matters. And I was kind of taken short when the latest intake of parliamentarians came into Parliament after the general election. And now there are about 30% of women so 30% women in Parliament. So Parliament, an institution several hundred years old, has nearly double the amount of women than the sector, which basically didn't exist nearly 20 years ago. Not okay.
So what are you doing about that? What can you do? You've had a lot of roles. You were the government's official digital commissioner for a while.
Champion, yeah. Crazy word of champion, actually.
Digital, what was the title?
Digital champion. Yeah.
Digital champion. Could you do much in that position?
Well, that was, as I say, focusing on the big issue of how to help more people get access to the internet, a kind of universality, and also how the government itself could use the internet better. So we created a team in central government called the Government Digital Service. Sounds boring, is actually awesome. We took a bunch of incredibly bad internet-based government services and turned them into something really world-class with gov.uk. So that's kind of a bunch of different stuff I was doing. In the women in tech stuff, it's not just me, there are amazing things happening all over the country. I think it just needs a bit more clarity, focus, and convening. We had an event last night in the House of Lords where some incredible women and men came together who are both doing things in their own organizations, but also running programs like STEMETS, Tech Mums, Code Academy, Code Dojo, all of these different things addressing the problem from different angles. But to me, we still need to be bold in our ambition in the UK, and if I can add my voice to saying, if we made this place the best place to be a female technologist in the world, how incredible would that be? We'd have not only an awesome cohort of actual female developers, product designers, UX experts, whatever it might be, giving us a competitive advantage, but we'd also have empowered a cohort of women, and we'd make better products. Because guess what? Products that involve men and women are better products. I was reading, I'm sure you know about this, but the release of the Apple Health Kit is one of my most favorite examples. Do you know about this? So Apple released their health kit last year, October time. The best product for health in the world, every single bit of your health catered for. Well, not if you have a period. Few people I know have them, maybe a few people in this room. Completely and totally forgotten from the product design.
Wow.
I wonder why.
That's fascinating.
So, better teams. I mean, it's not rocket science. Better teams are more diverse teams. So I would love the UK to have a bolder and more world-leading ambition in this aspect.
And now you've started a program called .Everyone.
Well, I am trying to bring it together as we speak. I think that the UK could have a role in creating an organisation for the kind of digital public world. I think that there aren't very many public-facing digital organizations in the world, ones that worry about balancing the world of .com with all the other things that we need to think about, the moral, the ethical, the social challenges, the universality issues that, as you can tell, I really mind about. And I don't think anywhere's really done that properly or put focus on it, and I would love the UK to do that because we have an incredible history of national institutions. And
explain that to me. I'm not sure what exactly you mean.
I think that we have a huge focus in this country on digital startups. That's awesome. We've got an incredible new cohort of exciting things happening, just miles away from this city, but from this venue, but also in other cities around the country. We've got lots of programs looking at, I hope now, digital skills and how to embed them. But I feel as though we haven't yet quite grasped the counterbalance to the dot-com world, all of the things that we could invent to own the digital public space, whether that's arts-based projects or ethics projects or projects using tech for good in social enterprises or challenges like the Women in Technology Challenge, ones that don't necessarily have a direct commercial gain, direct, but definitely indirect, ones that need championing from a non-commercial perspective. And I think the UK could really be world-leading in thinking about addressing those challenges.
And what are you doing to build this organization?
Well, it might be something that feels very different to other organizations. I don't think it even necessarily needs a building or a team. It might be something that just takes challenges, like Women in Technology, and says, right, let's try and address that over the next 2 to 3 years here in the UK. Let's just all chuck in some resources and get going in much more of a kind of agile design type way.
Martha, back to the government and how digital savvy or digitally advanced it is. Do you know Megan Smith, who is now the Chief Technology Officer of the U.S.?
I've seen her on stage, but I don't know her personally.
So she was at Google for many years. She's now the Chief Technology Officer of the United States. We know her well. She's been a longtime member of the Most Powerful Women community. She came to our Washington dinner, Most Powerful Women dinner, a couple of months ago. She was telling us that she is very, very impressed with the UK government's technology, because you can go onto their website and see things that are going on within the government that is a far cry from what citizens in the United States can do.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning when we talk about gov.uk and some of the work that we did in the Cabinet Office in central government. It's a whole range of things came together, but the UK government has put a real emphasis on transparency, accountability, open data, set up something I'm on the board of called the Open Data Institute, really trying to free up all the public data we have to create new businesses, new social enterprises, but also have a huge focus around improving government services online. And really, Megan's right, we're kind of world leading now in how you can go onto the internet and actually have one of the best experiences you might have anywhere on the web using a government service, and that's quite unusual.
And so that's something to be proud of, and that's something that's a great accomplishment. I want to touch on a very meaningful part of your life, which was in 2004, just at the end of your lastminute.com days. You went on a vacation in Morocco, and you had a very, very serious car accident. And hence the cane up here.
Walking sticks to you, Dr.
The walking stick. You broke 28 bones.
Yes, I did.
And you had a stroke.
Yes, I did.
And how long and hard was this recovery, and what is your takeaway from it?
I find it hard to talk about. It doesn't end. So I am incredibly lucky because I could get the best care in the world, quite literally, and if I hadn't had money, frankly, I wouldn't have been able to be flown out of Morocco, brought back to the UK, and I would definitely have died. So that is a sobering thing. And when people tell you money doesn't make a big difference, they are talking crap. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that your friends and your family are just the most remarkable and awesome people in your life. And I hope I'd always known that, but I really was completely gobsmacked. I spent nearly 2 years in hospital, and every single day somebody came to see me. Every day, sometimes loads of them. They had parties, they projected movies on the ceiling of the hospital for me, they brought kids, they told me they were pregnant, they had small receptions for their marriages. Beyond incredible, and that is the most humbling thing. So in that very intensive period from kind of 2004 to 2006-07, I just was completely blindsided by the care that my friends and family showed me. And I think, the thing now is just, you just need to be resilient. I'm lucky, I'm an optimistic person, but it still takes quite a mental trick every day not to be floored by pain, continence, logistics, movement, all the stuff that is very personal and private. So there we go.
And has this, and you had 28 surgeries?
Yep.
Yep.
Last year is the first year I didn't have one. Woohoo!
Wow. That's an accomplishment.
Thank you.
Has this made you more determined to fulfill all of these social and, let's call them social,
Yeah.
for the good of the UK, passions? Or did it end up net kind of wearing you down?
Yeah, that's a really good question and good way of putting it. I hope that I had always had kind of ambitions for myself to do some good stuff, having had some immense luck with lastminute.com. So I don't feel like I suddenly thought, oh, I want to spend my life doing what is perceived as good stuff. It wasn't quite like that. I think you're right that net, the thing I find frustrating is just that in the end, I can't do everything that I want to do. And I would, urge everybody always to think yes before they think no. I really try and do that. I was asked to give the Dimbleby lecture earlier this year, and every single bone in my body was going, no, bad idea. You don't have any help. It's on television. It'll be a lot of work. I said, yes, and then it just kind of happened. But the thing I find frustrating is that you can't do everything. Like anybody, you can't do everything you want to do, and a bit of my brain is just always worrying about my own personal physical state, and it's boring and frustrating and tiring and doesn't really help anybody.
Well, you are an inspiration.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. Thank you for
me.
recovering. You are full of life and vitality.
Thank you.
And kudos to you.